So here we go. All right. It kind of rolls into the next topic, which is Spy X Family's action. All right. And here's my thing. It kind of reminds me of like the Jujutsu Kaisen complex, where it's like Jujutsu Kaisen to me is mid as hell, right? The only thing it really excels at, and this is just the anime, all right? The only thing it really excels at is action. I don't think I've ever seen an anime that has superior action has Jujutsu Kaisen. But Spy X Family has really good action. I don't think that's saying much because I feel like anime nowadays, back in the days, action wasn't as emphasized, and I feel like there were like limitations to like the 90s anime, even 80s anime, like action scenes. It was very like telegraphed. But I mean, back then, that's all I knew, so it was great, right? So I feel like anime action now is more, it's more like, I don't know, optimized. So it's kind of hard to go wrong when you see some of these anime like Mob 100 and all these animes that like the action scenes are just like top tier, right? Like it's hard to do. There are some animes that do a really bad job, like Tokyo Revengers. The action scenes are just bad, right? But you know, straying away from that, Spy X Family action is very, very good. It's like, if I had to give it like 10 being the best, 1 being disgusting, I would say Spy X Family action is probably like maybe like an 8.5. Yeah, like it's definitely up there. And here's the thing that I love about it compared to other anime, probably even like Jujutsu Kaisen. Like a lot of anime have to focus on special abilities. Granted, my show focuses on special abilities too, right? But to kind of emphasize the action, Spy X Family, there's no like special powers minus Anya's powers, right? Like telepathy or whatever. But it's rare to find anime that can emphasize really good action without having to overemphasize like energies and throwing powers and all these extreme things, even like solo leveling, like extreme abilities, right? Spy X Family utilizes really good action without the overemphasis of like all these crazy abilities. It's just standard James Bond like action, like you just straight skills, reflexes, flipping, all that stuff. Like, and it does really, really, really well. The issue is, I feel like Spy X Family doesn't emphasize this action enough. The only thing that I won't say the only, like, Spy X Family is more well-rounded than Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Jujutsu Kaisen, I feel like it just overly excels in action and it's kind of mid everywhere. Spy X Family excels in action, but I think also, I won't say excels, but it's pretty above average when it comes to storytelling. I don't think it's the most amazing story, but it's a fair enough story, right? And even like the slice of life moments, it's above average. The only thing I don't like about Spy X Family is that I feel like the slice of life moments, which is why I was like, yo, like just don't even go in that realm. Granted, I know you have to have those moments. A lot of the story is centered around it, but it's very like I found myself kind of like dozing off, kind of sleeping when they're not fighting, which kind of reminds me of Jujutsu Kaisen again. But there are some moments that were slice of life that did catch my attention, and I wasn't like drowsy or whatever. But I really wish Spy X Family focused more on action. And then to its credit, right? And I'm going to talk about this later, but I feel like a lot of the episodes were like filler, right? So the argument here is that there is a lot more action in Spy X Family, but because they're kind of based off of the manga, I'm hoping like they're trying to follow the manga to the T, that like they just don't have enough content to put out. So they're putting out these slice of life moments because Spy X Family genre, it really is a certain sector of slice of life. But when the action scenes were on like that, it catches your attention. I'm telling you, Spy X Family action, like even down to the tennis scene with him and Nightfall, that shit was fire. That shit was fire. Like even like if you had to compare the two main action scenes, right? It was I think Yuri, like his pretend wife, and the assassins on the boat. So there's that, and then the tennis scene. I think the tennis scene was by far like the best series of episodes action that I've seen in a really long time. And granted, like the assassin scene where Yuri, like, yeah, that was good too. But I feel like that I feel like it was generic. I feel like I've seen stuff like that before. I don't think it was anything crazy in terms of a character that has special abilities and. I was say special ability. The character is like somewhat OP, and she's on a mission to protect somebody, kind of shows off her skills. I feel like I've seen that. But the tennis one, that I really wanted more episodes like the Spy X Family tennis scene with Lloyd and Nightfall, with Twilight and Nightfall. That shit was fire. Fire. I want more action scenes like that. That was fire. So I can see why Spy X Family is so popular. That was so fire. I love that scene. And I'm not gonna lie, Nightfall is like probably one of my favorite characters. I really do love Nightfall. But me just saying that I wish Spy X Family had more action. But it's probably by unfortunate like design, because it's probably trying to meet the criteria of the manga, and if the manga isn't like up to date, you know, like there's only so much they can do. Or maybe the manga is up to date, because again, I didn't read the manga, and they were only licensed for a certain number of episodes, that they gotta try to cram whatever they can in. But I definitely think the manga just didn't have enough, because it felt like a lot of fillers, and they were doing like double episodes, like double stories per episode. I'm gonna talk about that more. That shit was annoying, but no. So it makes me feel like, and here's the thing: I don't think they want to go like the Game of Thrones route, right? Everybody, if you watch content, like Game of Thrones is very popular. So if you watch Game of Thrones, you know what happened, where they deviated from the book, and everybody was mad. At a certain point in Game of Thrones, they deviated from the book. Same thing with Fullmetal Alchemist. At a certain point, they deviated from the story, and people got upset. Fullmetal Alchemist is slightly different because they did it successfully. That's the power of really good storytelling. Really good storytelling. That's the power of really good storytelling. But to the point that like I think Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood was more focused on the manga versus just Fullmetal Alchemist without the Brotherhood, right? Word was more like them kind of making it up because they were so far ahead of the manga, and people wanted that content that they didn't want to wait. So I think that's the realm that Spy X Family is probably in. But I really do really enjoy the action scenes. I feel like the action scenes are really underrated. And if Spy X Family can give me more of those action scenes versus the slice of life, I would probably rate it a lot more high. I mean, regardless of how I feel, it's a popular anime, so it's doing well. It's doing well. You don't need my bam stamp of approval, right? But I really do wish they had more action scenes, because the slice of life, unless it's Anya, right? Like I feel like that's the only thing that really held the slice of life part up. Anya is the MVP. Ironically enough, Anya isn't my favorite character, but Anya is the MVP of that show because her episodes that are slice of life do really well. I think it really captures your attention, captures my attention. But all the other episodes that were like slice of life that doesn't involve Anya weren't that good. And like I said, the only thing I could think about is like, yeah, I think they're trying to be like Love is War in these moments, but like Love is War is better minus the Anya scenes. The Anya scenes can compete with the Love is War anime. But if you take out the scenes with Anya, you put all the other scenarios of just like slice of life romance, even what's called Twilight's partner, it's not entertaining. It's not like, bro, you don't get girls. Get out of here. Like, it's just not entertaining. So I really wish they focused more on the action. But Spy X Family, I think the thing that really, again, makes it stand out compared to other anime, which is why I get why it's so popular, the action scenes are really good, and it's above average in everything else. Versus Jujutsu Kaisen, really action is like superb, which just kind of gives you an idea of like people's different power levels, and if that makes sense, right? Jujutsu Kaisen action scenes is top tier, but it's kind of mid in everything else. And I forgot, it was this one quote that I heard from like this CrossFit player or like somebody like in real life, where it was like, if you're competing in the Olympics or all those other things, you don't have to be exceptionally good in everything, right? So that's a misconception, which I thought was really insightful. The Olympian whatever guy said was like, you don't have to be amazing in everything. You just have to be above average in everything in order to compete in the Olympics. So it's just like, hey, like there might be things that you're not as good at, but you can't be bad in anything if you really want to compete. So I think that's what Spy X Family is. Spy X Family doesn't do anything bad. Spy X Family is pretty much above average stat-wise across the board, and is slightly above average with action. Jujutsu Kaisen is above, action is through the roof, but is mid with everything else. So I think you want to be in the realm of Spy X Family, where it's like, you may not be amazing across the board, like stats are just through the roof, but at least you want to be above average in everything to really stand out in order to really compete. So I think that should be the goal for most anime. You know, it's hard to do, but you know, it's definitely achievable. All right.